Top first time buyer mistakes part 1. Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about. The mistakes that first time buyers have, either from my clients or personal experience. Hi, I'm Manda Walker and I'm the mortgage coach, and I believe that everyone has a right to own their own place. Today, as I said, I think you really need to watch this because it will tell you all about mistakes that first time buyers have. I'll do a part 1 and then a part 2. Right, so the most important thing that I've had when a mortgage has been declined is because people have gotten credit out just before they apply for the mortgage. So there was one scenario where I had a client that got out a credit card and went completely overdrawn on it just before they were due to apply for the mortgage. So when you go for your decision in principle, they actually do your credit file, your credit score. And if you've applied for credit recently, I even had a client that had applied for a couple of credit cards because they were trying to go on a lower rate and try and sort themselves out. But because they applied for quite a few credit cards in a short space of time and then applied for the mortgage, it failed on that point as well. The other person, they actually applied, and I don't know why. To this day, I do not know why, but they actually applied for a car just before they were planning. So they'd saved up, we'd sat down, we'd had the discussion, I've told them how much deposit they needed. They were like, great, I've saved up that deposit, now I can get myself a car. They didn't discuss it with me, and then just before I put the mortgage application in, they actually went and got a car on finance, which they still got the mortgage, but unfortunately it got reduced quite significantly by what they could actually borrow, that they actually needed to use all of their deposit when they actually were planning to put some aside for refurb. So that's something else to look for. Really make sure that you haven't applied for credit in advance. That's really important. The other thing to do is to get your credit file and review it. I had a client literally only this week reviewing their credit file, and there were things on it, addresses on it that weren't even anything to do with them, and they actually have a family member who has the same name as them, and that appeared on the credit report as well. So just because they had, someone else has a similar name to them, and it doesn't even have to be someone it might actually be someone that you don't know, and they have a similar name, or unfortunately there's identity theft. So you really need to be 100% sure that your credit is clean before you apply for a mortgage, because it just delays things, and it takes time to sort out and things like that. So review your credit file before. Don't take out credit. Those are my 2 top tips. The third one is about bank statements. It's kind of related. But obviously, the bank statements, you need to have 3 months worth of bank statements. They have to be clean bank statements, i.e., you can't have large sums of money moving from one account to another. You need to be able to explain it if you do. Obviously, I do see this quite often, but basically what they're doing is their salary comes into their account and then they take out half of their salary into a savings account. Now, because you've done a bank transfer from one account to another and it's a regular one, the bank will want to see both accounts, but the majority of the time, because you've got to show proof of deposit for at least 12 months, build up of that deposit, they'll ask to see that. But normally savings accounts do an annual statement and there aren't that many transactions on it. So a 12-month statement isn't too much paperwork, when obviously the current account, they'll ask for 3 months, which can be several pages. Now, do not live in your overdraft. I did also have another client, and they were just living in their overdraft every single month since they graduated from uni. And I asked them, and they're like, but it's interest free. And I'm like, but it shows the bank, it gives the bank the impression that you can't manage your money. And if you can't manage your money and stay out of your overdraft, how are you going to convince them that you can pay your mortgage? Now, I know a lot of you are renting, and you rent every single month and you pay the rent and you never go over. But banks are very cautious. They're responsible lenders. They need to look at all angles. So if you've just taken out a car finance, or you've applied for a load of credit cards and it hasn't gone well for you, or even applied for a personal loan and it hasn't gone well for you, or you're living in your overdraft. Those are alarm bells to banks, and it will put banks and building societies and other even specialist lenders, it will put some of them off as well. So make sure that when you know you're going to get a mortgage, you start organising yourself and being more responsible with your money and managing your money. As I said, this is just one of 2 videos where I'll talk about other mistakes that first-time buyers have had. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and my name's Amanda from the Mortgage Coach. Thank you.